Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of What the Heck Is That with David Saventura. He have a really exciting episode for you today with Mollie McLean from Music Therapy by McLean. Mollie is a music therapist, so she uses music and sound to help people. We talk about how she does that and what her work looks like. We even get to learn about how Mollie first got into music. Let's get into the episode.
What the heck is that? Wonders, oh wonders of the world. So many wonders to behold. So many questions in my mind. So many questions, so little time. Answers don't so easily come unless you know to ask someone who is a master of the trade. Ask them how clouds get their shape. Welcome to What the Heck Is That with David Saventura.
Can you tell me what music therapy is and how it is different from regular music lessons?
Yes, so music therapy uses music-based interventions to target therapeutic non-musical goals. So someone's goals might be to improve their fine and gross motor skills, to increase speech production or communication, to improve attention span, anything like that. So my goal would never be for someone to learn how to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on piano, but it would be for them to increase their attention span to 1 minute, to learn a song for 1 minute, and then maybe that results in them learning how to play a song like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
That is really interesting. I have always felt like music is healing. What makes you decide to do this kinds of work?
I knew I wanted to do something where I could help people, and as I loved music as a child, then I started looking for a career where I could be in music and help people. So when I found out about music therapy when I was writing a research paper, it just seemed like the perfect marriage of the two passions of mine, and so I was able to find that before I went into college so then I could study it in college immediately.
I like that you found what your passion is at a young age. Who can benefit from music therapy?
Basically anyone. So we work often with people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, like autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, oftentimes like Alzheimer's or dementia. People post-stroke for speech and language rehabilitation and gross motor rehabilitation. We work in hospice, in NICU, everyone, everywhere.
It sounds to me like everyone can benefit from the power of music. I read on your website that some of the goals of music therapy are to reduce stress from anxiety. How does it do that?
So music therapy can help to reduce stress and anxiety using preferred music. So that means whatever you prefer is going to be the most effective neurologically for you. So if someone really enjoys like metal music, then it's going to be more relaxing for them to listen to that than it is for them to listen to like a yoga, lo-fi sort of track or something. So your brain responds the most to music that you enjoy. It responds the second most to music that you recognize and maybe don't enjoy, and the least to music that you've never heard before. The second thing is the body entrains to rhythm. And so if we're trying to reduce someone's heart rate or their blood pressure, then you can find music with the right beats per minute, the right BPM, to try to help the body entrain to that lower beat. And the third thing that we think about, and this is more like mental health goals, is that music is processed in one side of the brain where negative emotions are also processed. And then logic is processed in another side of the brain with language and some of the positive emotions. So when you're writing a song, taking those the music and the creative side with some of the negative emotions that you might be feeling and putting it into words is going to help you to cross midline and take the negative emotions into the positive. So we think about a lot of different things when we're targeting stress and anxiety, but it's mostly contingent on what the client likes and what they need and how we can neurologically focus the most healing in the music therapy treatment.
I had no idea that there was so much science in music. Do you ever use instruments?
Yes, I use instruments every day. So I typically play guitar, piano, and I sing most of the time, but other times I'll bring in other instruments like mandolin, violin, ukulele, omnichord, auto harp, just things that people are interested in engaging in and that they can engage with easily. So like the auto harp, maybe they press down one button and they strum, and I can physically assist them if they need to, but just anything that can help them to make music independently or mostly independently with my help. The other thing, a lot of people are really interested in digital music making at this point, and so sometimes I'll use online music making with Soundtrap, or I'll use online music games to try to engage them so then they can create their own music.
That is what expected, but I like that you also use games. Can you tell me what the games are? That is very cool.
Yeah, so some of the games that we use are Incredibox, where you can like drag clothes or shapes onto different people, and then it will make like an a cappella track with that. Or I use Chrome Music Lab, which teaches about like music theory in really interesting ways with like drawing and patterns and things like that. Or Inside the Orchestra is fun because it teaches about all the orchestral instruments, and they have like musical bingo and guessing games, which is fun too.
When you're not doing music therapy, what kinds of music do you like to listen to?
I like a lot of folk and acoustic music. I'm also really into country music right now because I like line dancing a lot, and they play a lot of country music. But anything with just acoustic instruments is fun, and I like to hear a good fiddle too.
That's fun. I'm more of a pop guy. What is your favorite part about your job?
My favorite part about my job is having the time to be able to give someone the patience that they deserve to get the most genuine answer from them. And so oftentimes, if people aren't communicating verbally, or if they use gestures or like an AAC, it can take a little longer for them to respond or to advocate for their needs and interests. But I'm lucky to have 50 minutes where I can just focus on what they need and what they're trying to say. So every project that we do or every activity we do, I really try to focus on what does the client want and make sure that with binary choices, it's as genuine as I can get from them. And if they're writing any songs, I want to make sure that they have complete autonomy over what they're doing. So it might take a while to get responses from people, and we might have to try a few different ways to try to ask people questions and get responses. But I really enjoy taking my time to figure out what people are trying to say.
I really love that, and it's true that music is a way from communication, feelings, and it brings people together. Growing up, were you really into music?
Yes, I grew up with my uncle being an Irish musician. My family is from Ireland, and so at every family event he would be playing and I'd be Irish dancing and learning all the words to all the traditional songs. Also, I grew up doing a lot of musical theater, which was fun, and I like singing as a character and like being able to figure out what other people's emotions would be in a completely different situation, which is fun. And then when I was 12, I figured out that I was very interested in music, and so I started teaching myself guitar, and my friend's dad lent me a guitar and some chord sheets, and then I was off. And so then started learning piano and just figured out a few things before I got more formal lessons in college.
Musical theaters sound really fun to meet, and I had a feeling that you have and loved music for a long time. Can you tell me about a time that you saw a lot of progress in someone you work with?
So every 6 months, we're reevaluating the treatment plan to try to make sure that things are appropriate for them and that it's catering to what they're interested in as well. And so I like speech language and like communication development the best most of the time, just because you can really see a difference in someone's day-to-day life. I have some people who are adults who haven't been able to say their parents' names or like their own name until I started working with them and put like melody and rhythm to names, so then they were able to say them and then show them a picture, then they were able to recognize it and use it independently. But sometimes like the emotional side of things can be very rewarding as well, like working in hospice and giving someone like their last few moments where you're playing music with them and making a big difference like that can feel very rewarding as well. So everyone's doing great and making a lot of progress, which I'm very happy to see.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Mollie, and telling us about the work that you do as a music therapist. I have learned so much about how music can be such a great way to heal and grow. I like that you are finding a new way to connect with people who might have a harder time doing that alone. Communication should not stop people from being able to do that. Sometimes we just need people like you to help. I think you are really amazing. Thank you for the work that you do and for sharing with us about music therapy.
Thank you, David.
What the heck is that with David Ventura?